Hello guys, welcome back to yet another video. Today's video is going to be a special one because today I'm going to showcase the camera app, the original camera app for my Motorola Edge 20. This time I'm only gonna use the Pro mode and snap some photos using the Pro mode only. And I'm gonna briefly explain to you what the setup will be like. So it's gonna be really simple. I'm currently filming with my smartphone and I'm soon gonna switch to this GoPro so you can follow me in POV mode. In the meantime, I will also screen record everything so you can follow in the app as well. Hope you like the video, and if you have more questions, please ask them in the comments below. But first, it's time for a little intro. Alright guys, so I'm walking here on this grazing area. It's been a while since I've been here. And one thing I just need to tell you about the Motorola Edge 20 is that I got the Android 12 update a week or two ago. So if some things look a bit different, then that's the reason why. Other than that, I don't have any issues using the smartphone so far. So let that be clear straight from the beginning. Opening the camera app is really simple by using the Moto action. Just shake the phone once or twice and then you will open the camera app. Alright, and I'm going to do that again because I just started recording right now. As you clearly can see, I've opened up the app, and what's new in Android 12 is that I can record my own talking, so the internal built-in microphone of the smartphone as well as the system sounds. And I'm just moving to the same location as my previous video, and then we will snap some photos together. So here we are. Now I'm going to look for something interesting to snap some photos of. Right now you can clearly see grasses are becoming tall, so I'm going to look for something worth to shoot as well. Maybe some of these white flowers. But I want to cover some macro photography, some landscape photography, some stuff with a wide angle, with a macro lens, things like that. Just remember guys, this is all using the built-in camera app, because there are alternatives as well, giving you even more freedom. But I'm not covering those today. Okay, and I really love these dandelions here. So let's start with macro photography. Okay, I'm gonna go to the menu here like this, and then you can select here Pro mode. This will enable you maximum freedom basically, and I will show you the settings of the camera. So for the photos, you can clearly see that the AI settings are almost all set to active. Smart composition, I don't want that because sometimes I play around with creative angles and I don't want to force that. Then you have here AI optimization. AI optimization might be useful in some cases. The main reason why it's turned on is simply because the AI actually detects what type of shot you want to take, and based on that it will improve some settings. Now in the Pro mode this won't matter at all, but I will leave these settings as they are right now. So that's this. Now we want to shoot these dandelions, so I'm going to set the lens and pick macro lens. Then the autofocus, I'm going to put that in manual focus close to the macro this little flower as well. And then we will see what settings we get while we get the composition. Ooh. Not Google Lens, I don't want that. Okay. So autofocus set to macro. Right. And then we will move to this dandelion. Oh, this is a really beautiful shot. Now I'm not gonna play around with the other settings because it's doing almost everything automatically. Maybe one more important thing, timer, I don't turn it on. I shoot in 3:4 ratio and I shoot in RAW only, and flash is forced to be off. I never turn my flashlight automatically on because that way it will. I want a few of these dandelions in one single shot and play around with the depth a bit more. Maybe here. There are 3 of them close to each other. Okay, so I tap the, so it's again set to macro. Like this. Now white balance and things like that are all set to automatic. And I'm gonna snap something I usually never do, but I'm still gonna do it, but maybe with this dandelion. And let's snap a top-down shot. Okay, so these are a few examples. Now, one big advantage of snapping macro shots or photos in general using the Pro mode is that the Pro mode enables you to shoot in RAW. Whenever you use artificial intelligence and things like that, or the automatic mode of the smartphone, you won't get that option and you won't get maximum freedom whenever you want to shoot, or get more freedom in your edits later on in post. So that's one thing to consider. If you want maximum freedom, always use the Pro mode. This was a very first example, and in this first example I did snap some macro shots only. Now I'm gonna continue my walk a bit further away and look for a beautiful landscape frame or a beautiful landscape composition that I can use to snap some landscape photos using the normal lens and the wide angle lens. So I see you in a bit at the different locations. And as I'm walking towards the next location, I want to point out something different as well regarding the Pro mode. Nature photography isn't always the best way of showcasing the Pro mode, simply because nature photography or the app is really adjusted to nature photography, and the AI settings are really great for nature photography in general. But if you want, for instance, snap some long exposure photos, let's say from waves in the ocean or light trails and things like that, then the Pro mode is really useful, and for that you also need a tripod to minimize the in-camera motion blur, or simply motion blur in general from holding the smartphone in your hands. That's for a different video, but I already wanted to point that out in this video as well. And maybe I can snap some beautiful landscape shots over here, so I'm gonna try and check whether that will be worth this photo or not. Alright, and I just found this beautiful small path surrounded by these trees, and I think this is really beautiful to snap some more photos here. And one thing I instantly want to explain, so in the Pro mode you have on the right side, and I just removed it, the histogram. Histogram shows you how your balance is in the frame. For instance, if I point the photo towards the sun, I'm gonna see it's overexposed. Actually, this is a really cool photo. So what I'm using right now, I did use the Pro mode again. I set the focus to autofocus, but I'm going to switch that to infinity, so basically that's almost the same. Then the shutter speed and ISO is forced to be 100. That won't be an issue because I'm gonna point my smartphone or the lens towards the sky, which is really exposed. No flash, no soft timer, no exposure corrections at all. And then I will only play around with the white balance. I can force the white balance to be set to cloudy. I will set that to sunny. And then the only thing that rests me to do is snap the photo. And I really love those dramatic clouds. So the shutter speed is set to automatic, but I did tap to the highlights, or basically the sun, to force the camera to correct or adjust the shutter speed so the final photo isn't blown out. Okay, and then maybe I don't like this shrub in the foreground. Normally I would do everything to get some layers of depth, but right now I don't like them. You can clearly see my white balance is a bit too much right now, but it's really amazing how much details I can retain from the sky by using the Pro mode. So guys, I'm really impressed by that. Oh, and I did see something cool to snap a photo of as well. Okay, so white balance, I'm gonna put it to to automatic. But one thing, I barely set my white balance in camera because that's something you can easily correct later on in post-production, especially if you shot your photos in RAW. So the only thing that I'm gonna change is the focus to auto, and I'm going to switch that to something like this, so it's not infinity, but that way I just need to look. I want to have focus on that tree, and I want a bit of depth in the other trees. So the background should be a bit blurred out. Okay. I'm gonna snap one more. So this was the normal lens using the Pro mode, and right now I'm going to test and showcase the wide angle lens, and this beautiful path is perfect for that because there's trees at both sides of the road and I want both of those in one single frame. So I'm going to switch back to the GoPro and snap some photos together with you guys using the wide angle lens. And right now you can clearly see I selected the wide angle lens, so switching from the normal lens to the wide angle lens gives you way more opportunities to snap landscape shots. You can clearly see autofocus. I'm gonna set the autofocus to infinity. Now I want a bit depth, so I'm going to put it a bit to the middle. Then the white balance, I'm gonna set it to sunny again, and the ISO, I'm not gonna touch that. And the shutter speed, you can play around with that. And maybe one important thing to notice as well, if you play around with these settings, you can see them being updated live. so that way you can always check before you snap the photo whether your photo will look good or not. And I'm gonna move a bit lower to the ground right now. Okay. Now I want to try and use something as a foreground element, and for that, okay, the white balance, I'm not gonna touch that. I'm gonna play around with the focus. First of all, let's snap a photo in which the leaves are in frame, or in focus at least. Do the same with these flowers, just be careful to not touch them, because these give you some skin burns. Maybe something with ferns, I'm not sure yet. I'm just brainstorming a little bit, because this isn't easy to showcase, because it's only one mode. I'm gonna put the white balance to automatic again, and then play around with the focus. Maybe snap some close-ups of one of these leaves. Maybe now these plants are becoming really large already. Yeah, I think this will be cool. Just make sure that my shoes are not in frame. You can clearly see the phone adjusted the ISO to 400 for snapping that photo, simply because it's a bit darker at this place. One thing I didn't showcase yet is that you can't zoom whenever you shoot in Pro mode. So the only way to basically zoom in, zoom out is by switching the lens type. So I'm gonna show you one more time. So if you want to zoom in or zoom out, you only can do that by switching between the lenses. So macro, wide angle, normal, or telephoto. And that's the last option I didn't explain yet, because I simply don't like to use it. Damn guys, if I don't know if you remember this place, but this place has changed a lot. So many trees are cut down and are fallen down because of the bad weather last winter and the past few months. But at this place I'm gonna snap some final photos using the telephoto lens. So again, I am using the Motorola original app, and I'm gonna switch to the telephoto lens. Now, before you use the telephoto lens, you can clearly see the quality drops a little bit, so make sure that in all cases your lenses are clean, or as clean as possible. And now all I want to do is look for a beautiful configuration of trees. I don't want that private property sign in the photo. And then I want something in the foreground, such as these tall grasses, and snap a photo of the tree stems only. One disadvantage of this scene is that all these trees are planted in the past in a single row, so the composition isn't too interesting, but maybe here on the right side this might be better. But first of all, I'm gonna try maybe here. Okay, now it's a bit too dense, and the weather is really becoming bad. Now this way of using the telephoto lens isn't as it's designed to. Basically a telephoto lens is most of the time used to snap some photos of birds or things further in the distance. We are also gonna use that, but in a different way. Or maybe like this, using the Pro mode obviously. When I want something in the foreground. Yeah, that's exactly what I meant. I just need to find a perfect angle. Yeah, this is not easy. Well, I'm gonna snap it eventually and check later on how it turned out. So clearly you can see, guys, I'm not used to use this lens a lot. Okay, this might be an interesting composition. Okay, so right now I only forced the camera or the smartphone to use that typical lens, and to be honest, that's in most cases the only reason I am using the Pro mode, unless I'm going for something like a long exposure shot. And I'm gonna use one more time a wide angle lens to snap a photo right here, and then I will end the video at this place. So that was the last lens I wanted to cover using the Motorola Edge 20 combined with the Pro mode. But like I said before, in the POV mode, the only reason why I personally use the Pro mode is for forcing the camera to shoot in RAW. And I only do that whenever I am snapping long exposure photos, or I know the conditions are pretty harsh and I want to take the time to snap some beautiful photos that I can edit later on in post a bit more rather than a normal JPEG file. Other than that, I only use the Pro mode to force the smartphone to use a certain lens, such as a tele lens, the normal lens, the wide lens, or something else. But in most cases I only use the standard function of the smartphone, and that's the automatic mode, using the artificial intelligence to pick and select a certain scene. But most of the time I only use those automatic scene detections whenever I don't get the focus right. So with that being said, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit a thumbs up. If you didn't already, just hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell to get notified whenever I upload a new video. If you want me to cover more functions of the smartphone, of the camera, or things like that, or maybe some other cameras or other subjects I should shoot, please let me know down in the comments below as well, and I will make it happen. With that being said, I really hope you enjoyed this video, and the only thing that rests me to say is that you don't need to be great to start, but start to become great. See you in the next video. Bye!